What's up guys, Bonnie here coming at you with a brand new game. Today we're talking about PLARIUM'S new game, which is Mech Robot Showdown. This was newly released on their Plarium Play, not exactly available on PC right now through their app, but you can play this on a mobile. So this is not another kind of battle royale war game. It's more like a robot 5v5 type of game where you duke it out for about 5 minutes to either capture some points, maybe like a team deathmatch, those types of things, right? So you get a lot of new mechs, you unlock their weapons, you progress some achievements, you get a bunch of cool stuff. It's meant to be skill based, okay? This is not your typical raid Shadow Legends game, right? It's more kind of like high paced, fast action. You go in there, boom, 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 you come out, and then you get some cool stuff. So far, it's been really fun. So I want to give you guys my first impressions, as well as give you a way to play this right now on the PC. I will have a link in the description below, as well as the comment section below, so that you guys can start playing right now with me. So let's get right to it. So here's what you want to do if you want to start playing this game right now on PC, because you cannot on Plarium Play. You can register, and when it does go live, it is going to notify you, so you might want to do that. If you go on plarium.com, it's pretty much the first thing that shows up in your face, so go ahead and download the player if you don't already have that. Like I said, this is where we play Raid Shadow Legends from anyway. So what you want to do instead is to use the download link that I will provide for you guys in the comment and description section below, which is this one right here, and that will bring you up to BlueStacks 5. Here you can install BlueStacks 5, and then you can download this game and play through there. You can also log in with your regular Plarium account, and then it's going to give you access to the full game on PC through BlueStacks 5, and it is a very smooth, very stable so far. So now let's go over some of the gameplay and features that I've seen so far. So when you first start the game, you will be greeted by a tutorial, the mobile tutorial, but because we're playing on BlueStacks 5, our buttons are not exactly the same as they were on a mobile game, right? So what you want to do is to turn on the in-game controls overlay, which is accessible through the side panel that you see right here. Once you do that, you will finally see where all your controls are on your screen, and will make your life a lot easier, trust me. All right, but there's not a lot of things to understand here. Basically, your space bar is kind of like your ability. You move around with your AWDS keys, then you have your Q and your E to shoot individually your left and right weapon, or you can use your main mouse button to shoot both of them at the same time. You have the Z and the X buttons to reload, or the R button to reload both of them at the same time. And then that's pretty much it so far. So once you're properly set up, you're good to go. So after that little tutorial, you will be brought to your first death match. This is where you fight your first mechs. Now, before you celebrate getting your first killing spree and thinking you're the best player in the world, just understand that these are bots, all right? So in the beginning, it's just meant to kind of make you understand how the game works in general. You have to capture the points, you got to kill the enemies. It's whoever makes it to 100 points first, or kills all the enemy mechs. So basically, you have a team of mechs. You need to unlock each of the slots, and when you have, let's say, a team of 3, then you can burn through all your 3 mechs, so basically have 3 lives until you're properly defeated by the enemy team. So whichever comes first, the 100 points or your entire team losing all their mechs. After you're done with all the basic stuff, you will finally start facing some real opponents, and this is where it gets interesting. So it's a lot more than just run in there and then just shoot everything down. You have to use the terrain to your advantage. You have to account for your reloading time when your weapons are out, so you kind of have to hide during that time, and then you go back in there and you kill your opponents, obviously trying to take advantage of the mech type versus another type, taking advantage of the certain weapons that you have versus the enemy. Some of them will be long range, short range. Some of the mechs will be slower but tankier, while others are really fast and meant to kind of run and capture the other points. So you really need to understand how all of that is going to work, but so far it hasn't been overly complicated to figure it out by just going over the tutorial and stuff. Second thing I will mention here is that you have some sticky targeting in this game. This is to assist the mobile players, which means that your reticle here will want to stick to one of the enemies. So sometimes it's hard to like unstick it to move to a different target, but if you are playing on PC, I think you have an advantage, right? The mouse and keyboard is a lot more precise than using the controller on the screen, right? So do take advantage of that for the time being, but I will caution you that in the future, you might very well have the game that is going to distinguish between the players playing on emulator versus the ones playing on mobile, and you will not face mobile players while you're using the PC app. Now, moving on to the overall look of the lobby and how to kind of navigate all this and where certain things are. Number one, this is a Plarium game, so you will be greeted by a lot of deals when you go back to the lobby, but I would assume some of them are really good. For example, here where you would get an uncommon mech with some uncommon weapons early on, this will certainly give you an advantage over the other players. All right, so there's certainly some pay for convenience or pay to win, call it whatever you want, but you can still have some fun with some of the free stuff, right? And then I think they're going to have kind of like general news and things of the sort. You have here a friends button. All right, so if you play with certain players or you want to invite certain players, then this is where you are going to do this. You also have your mail. This is where you're going to be sent some messages, basically kind of like raid. All right, so very basic stuff. Then you have your team of mechs right here in the middle with the different slots. So as you can see, I started playing, I had one, I unlocked a second one, unlocked a third one, and now I'm about to unlock my fourth one. So the more mechs you bring to a fight, the longer you can technically last. So do take advantage of this. At the bottom down here, we have the inventory. This is where you have your mechs and your weapons. Right now, it's kind of limited to this. And as you can see right here, there's some commons, uncommons, rares, and I guess legendaries. I think there's also some epics, for example, right here. There's also different types for your mechs: attackers, scout, tank, and a support. So there's obviously some strategy into picking the right mech in the beginning of the game. For example, the Lancer is very fast. You want to try and go capture some points as quickly as possible, and then if you die with your Lancer, then you might want to pick, let's say, your attacker and go more into a sort of like offensive defensive mode and try to take down the enemy mechs and then try and capture more points that way. Same thing with the weapons. You have some assault weapons, you have some missile weapons, you have some beam weapons, close quarters, you have some guided, you have some snipers right here, you also have some artillery. So you'll need to understand what each of them do. When it comes to upgrading your mechs, you're gonna have to unlock some blueprints for them. This you get over time while you're opening some silver and some gold crates. Perhaps there's some other ways of getting this, but so far I've been getting a lot of free ones by just playing the game. When you have enough of those, so the blueprints up here and some credits, you can upgrade them to the next level. I would assume eventually when you reach the maximum, you're gonna get more stars, and then you can keep powering up these mechs. But this is just a common one. I would assume you're going to want to save your resources for some of the better ones. Second thing you need to take into account is the energy capacity of each of the mechs. This is going to dictate which kind of weapons or the size of the weapons that you can put on each of them. For example, this RPG-4 right here does have an energy cost of 4, and this mech had a total of 8, which means I can put 2 RPG-4s on the weapon slot 1 and 2. The weapons, kind of the same thing as the mechs, can be upgraded. You're obviously going to need some blueprints for that, but again, this is just a common weapon, so you might want to hang on to those for more important things. Back to the lobby here, and at the bottom again, we have the shop right here. This is where you're going to be able to purchase a lot of goodies. All right, so there's some deals obviously, and there's also some premium stuff you can get, sort of like more in-game currency like the silver, the A coins, and what seems to be kind of like the fortune keys, I believe is what they're called. So each of these will have a different application, but so far I've been getting a lot of this by just playing the game. So I would say these are the equivalent of your gems in Raid Shadow Legends. This is the equivalent of your silver. The tickets seem to be used for tournaments. I'll get back to that in a second. And then these kind of fortune keys. I got a few so far by completing some achievements, which I'll get back to in a second, but those are used into the Vault Blitz. All right, so as you're playing this kind of lottery game, you have a chance at getting, for example, the skin right here that I got so far. You can get more credits, more skins up here, and there seems to be perhaps another skin. All right, so overall, I'm not sure if you're getting mechs or just skins from this. It might change over time, but the achievements are found up there in the top left corner. And for example, I've been playing a lot with the Lancer so far, so I did complete 5% of those achievements, and that gave me a few little rewards, as you can see right here. So as you're progressing each of the mechs, you're going to get a lot of free resources. So there's obviously a goal to try and play with all the different ones, but obviously it's not the only place you're getting resources. As you simply do matches, you're going to get some resources as well. For example, the quick match so far is what I've been doing. I've been getting a lot in there, and then we have the tournaments, which I would assume also give some resources, but I have not tried them out so far. I also see a custom match here, which I believe is probably not going to give you any resources, but it's so nice to be able to play with other friends. In fact, you want to play with other people, you want to coordinate on Discord in this game so that you can take advantage over the opponents. All right, so as you play more, you're going to get sort of like pieces of these silver crates, right? And once you have 100 of 100, you'll be able to open one. Then you're going to get some credits or silver blueprints to power up your weapons and your mechs, the A coins, kind of like your gems, and the tickets to do some of the tournaments. Occasionally, you're going to get the gold crate, which is obviously just a better version. You have a chance at finding a paint job. This is kind of like a skin, but just a different color for your mech. More credits, blueprints, and A coins. All right, so pretty straightforward overall. And finally, you do have obviously some daily quests and some weekly quests. There's also kind of like an event ongoing right now, so every day you have to complete a certain amount of daily tasks, and overall I think it is going to give you in the end, for example, a rare mech. All right, so do try and take advantage of this if you're one of those that wants to do free to play. And then right here we see the daily and weekly quests. All right, so pretty straightforward, relatively easy to complete for the time being. And then here's the event we were just in a second ago. Finally, 2-3 more things to point out before I let you guys go. Number one, you do have some levels of your character or your kind of like main profile, and as you progress in here, you're going to unlock more mechs overall, right? So don't worry, you're going to get some free mechs. They're not all locked behind that credit card. You're also going to get kind of new modes, for example 2v2 deathmatch, which is really nice, and then kind of like more weapons overall, more credits, more A coins, and then it just keeps getting better. You also have a daily login reward program, so more free resources. I also think you have a global launch event right now, so if you start playing right now, you're going to get some kind of like reward in here in your inbox, if I'm not mistaken. And finally, there is in this game a combat point limit, right? Which means that you can only do a certain amount of combat points or gain a certain amount of combat points and victory points before you kind of cap out for your day. But there is apparently a way to unlock those with A coins. So that is the gist of it, guys. That is what I know so far. I would really love to play with you guys, so go ahead and hit that link in the comment section or description section. Download BlueStacks 5, install it. It is going to support the channel at the same time, and finally we'll be able to play together.